that is truly the perfect setup to today's Family Time segment with our regular contributor and friend of the show, Casey Queen, the founder of Northern Nevada Moms. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me again.
So we just heard about some great ways that we can save money on those back to school items, but once you've got the items, there is still so much more that we can do to have a really great, successful start to the school year, physically preparing ourselves and our kids for all that's about to come. So what, I guess first of all, you are about a week and a half into school.
We are.
And stuff. You are homeschooling your kids. Kind of predict the future for us. How's it going so far?
It's going. We're still working out kinks, but it's going well so far.
Okay, so hopefully that's like the encouragement that you need, that like kinks are going to happen, but you can definitely get through them.
Right.
Especially if you're homeschooling. That is a beast all in of itself. But if you are sending your kids back to school, there are some things that we can all do to make that start of school year a little bit easier, starting first with like getting ready physically. What are some of the suggestions you have?
Yeah, so I mean, getting ready physically is obviously like the school supplies, right? Checking off the school supplies, the backpacks, the lunch boxes, things like that. And like our tips are making sure that they're accessible and easy for your kiddos, because you know, at school things kind of move quick. So having like those bento boxes ready to pack, and everything's really easily and accessible. If you have little kids who cannot tie their shoes yet, think about getting Velcro shoes or slip-on shoes, because I can't tell you how many times teachers have to stop to tie shoes, help zip up jackets, things like that. So thinking about your skill level of your kids and thinking about matching those school supplies to their level.
Yeah, and the bento boxes is key too, because I mean, lunch hour is no longer an hour. Sometimes they only get 15 minutes, right?
Right, the average school lunch now is about 20 minutes, and that's like from start to finish. And so it's really important that your kids have accessible lunches that are easy to go, because if they have to wait for their teacher to open their cheese stick or peel their orange for them, that's really important time that they're going to lose eating. So I think about having everything kind of pre-peeled, pre-opened, so your kids can just open up their lunch and eat it.
Yeah, okay. And then there's the mental side and the emotional side of going back to school. So let's talk about getting kids ready to go back to school mentally.
So what I've learned for me personally is your mindset, right? And I think that what I've learned, if not anything this past week, it's mom kind of sets the tone. So if I'm going into like the school year, the school week with a really positive mindset, like I can't wait to learn what you're going, I can't wait to see what you're learning this year. I'm so excited for you. Like that kind of wears off on our kids, right? So first thing, get your mind straight.
Yes.
And try to be that contagious, positive attitude for your kids. And so that's the first thing, is just like your positive attitude, getting that. And then creating a routine or a schedule, like kind of outlining what your weeks are going to look like. If you're taking the bus to school, doing drop-offs, school sports, homework hour, like there's so much more that are going into play than, you know, those summer months. So kind of having an outline of what your week, your routine is going to look like, I think is going to help not only you feel prepared, but also your kids, because then they know what to expect.
And I think that's a big deal, is expectations and stuff, you know, so that when the first day of school comes around, your kids know that they don't get to sleep in. They do have to get up and get moving, get dressed, eat breakfast, get their shoes on and stuff like that. And so talking them through that in advance of like, hey, when school starts, don't forget you're going to have to do this, this, and this, helps them know kind of, I guess, what is expected
they
of
know
them.
what to expect. They can mentally prepare for it. And you know, right now I would almost be preparing for that. So starting those earlier bedtimes right now, because a lot of schools start on Monday, so start that routine tonight. Go to bed a little bit earlier. You can still let them sleep in, but kind of just getting into the groove of those earlier bedtimes. And then something else that I really like to know is kids are in school all day, and a lot of that requires sitting. So when they come home from school, instead of like planning homework hour right after school, plan for a little play. Like let your kids go play, run around, maybe stop at the park on the way home from school, because they've sat a lot that day. So they probably have a lot of energy that they want to burn off.
Yeah, and then like you had mentioned kind of at the beginning, where it was like, okay, moms, dads, parents, providers, whatever role is in your family, you also need to make sure that you are mentally prepared, especially if maybe it's your first kid going off to school, and that can be a really big deal.
Really hard, absolutely. So kind of preparing for that, and then also just along with that is having those open conversations with your kids. And you know, you can even say like, Mommy's really sad that you're going, but I'm so excited too. Like this is going to be so great for you. And I think that having those open conversations is really important, because kids might have a hard day at school, or be overwhelmed with things,
Right.
and just knowing that you're there at the end of the day, like, that can make them feel so great and know that they can come to you, like, whatever that reason is.
Exactly. And that is something that whether they're in kindergarten, 8th grade,
Yes.
12th grade, they need to know that at home you are there for them.
Yeah,
So
you
that's
are
so
there
important.
for the small things, the big things, everything. You're like their cheerleader,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Exactly. Well, Casey, thank you so
Yeah.
much for being here. We always feel so inspired after our conversations.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back after this quick break.